One's been here at the battle report. So I just finished up Grill Quest and received an invitation to the 10-person Mid-Atlantic qualifying event for the National Masters. So what that means here in the Mid-Atlantic is the top 5 finishers for our region, and I think for the most part that means people who you have to have won one of the grand tournaments get an auto invite to represent the Mid-Atlantic at the National Masters tournament in February, and then we have 5 more spots that we can fill. And so we invite the next 10 highest players to a one-day, 4-day event. Gosh, a one-day, 4-game event, and the top 5 get to go. So now we're preparing for that. I decided to bring my Bretonnians again because it's Swedish comp, and I like using my Bretonnians in Swedish comp. This Lizardman list, you've probably seen something similar to it before. Whenever I play Lizardman, it seems to be against this player, and I know we played in Southern Assault as well as other tournaments. So starting on the far left, he's got 2 units of chameleon skinks. He's got a big bus of skinks, which I was surprised to see. And then in with them, he's got, I think, 4 characters. He's got 3 skink chiefs, and they were +1 strength on the first round of combat. I thought he said that means they had spears, and they were shooting at me, so I assume they have bows. And he's got a skink priest in there with a dispel scroll. Then he's got 8 Cold One Knights with the 2 Scar Vets, and these guys, you've seen them before. They're just, Scar Vets are nasty. +1 armor save. One with the other Trickster Shard is ideally suited to go against Bretts. Yeah. And he's got some Ripperdactyls, big unit of Saurus Warriors with a Slan, and I know that he was casting the signature spells, and I have to say I really like that. It's a lot of versatility, and there's none of the level 6 spells, the game-breaking ones. It's just a lot of spells that are helpful. I think if I played Lizardman, I would play that build. And he's channeling 3 dice on a 5-up, and another unit of Ripperdactyls. So over here on the right, I had my fast cav were on the further right. I was trying to just keep them from being able to scout behind my lines, and then I vanguarded them behind my lines here. Now, what this list is basically 3 knight units with 2 or 3 fighty characters each. So here on the right, I've got a unit of Knights Errant. I downgraded from Knights of the Realm because I just needed the points, and I felt they would just be a character delivery system, so they'd be just fine. So I've got 2 Paladins. They both have 2-up armor saves, and they both have Morning Stars. So I like that. So if I don't get the charge, at least my characters have +1 strength first round of combat. I've got a Damsel in there, level 1 beast, and she has a scroll because I just didn't have any points for my level 4 to get a scroll. You'll see why later. In my middle unit, Knights of the Realm, 9 of them. Now I've got 3 Paladins. 2 of them have the 2-up armor save with the Morning Star. One of them is my Battle Standard Bearer, and he's got a 1-up rerollable, and then just a cheap 5-point sword. I want to make sure that he has a magic weapon, just in case I go against vampires or something. My level 4 Prophetess is in there. She's using beasts. Because of all these characters, I like the potential for Savage Beast. But in all honesty, after the game, even I just really had a lot more fun with Heavens. I may try using Heavens with this. And then, of course, I've got Knights of the Realm, and they have the standard of Discipline. So this unit, even though there's no Lord character in there, is at Leadership 9. You see my Trebuchets, and then my 3rd unit of Knights, also Knights of the Realm. This one, again, has a Paladin. 2-up armor save with Morning Star. This one has 2 Lords. So the design of the list is that 1 Lord goes with the unit, the Knights Errant. So all 3 units are at Leadership 9. But because I saw those Cold One Knights over there, I decided I wanted both of my Lords over here. So one has Heroic Killing Blow, and after that he just has a 5-point sword. It's the one that for every wound you suffer, you get 1 less attack. I just didn't have the points to trick him out like I normally like to. The other Lord has the Virtue of Audacity, as well as a Sword of Anti-Heroes and a 1-up. So it's I like that build a lot. It doesn't necessarily kill monsters that quick, but I expect to see some character-heavy lists, and I like this guy for that. And they have the Banner of Swiftness, and the Paladin, of course, has the plus D6 to your first charge, so that makes this my far-reaching unit. You can see my Peg Knights, and then I have 2 units of Bowmen. So my opponent gets to go first. So I was trying to deceive him to thinking that I was deploying in the left corner, which is why you see my Bowmen over there, and my Peg Knights were kind of over there a little bit before I vanguarded him. And I think that's why he put his stuff over there, or maybe he just wanted it that way. But I liked where it was. I like my Knights in the middle to give me some more flexibility. He moves up like you can see, and it looks like he's held back, but that Swiftness banner plus that plus D6 it makes that distance not very far. So his Cold One Knights are 20 inches away from my Knights, and that is a very makeable charge. It means I need to roll an 11 with Swift Stride, and for any amount that I don't get it, I still have an extra d6 to make it up. So if I can roll a 4 on that d6, it means I only need to roll a 7 with Swift Stride. So it's a very makeable charge, and I've got 2 Lord level characters and a Paladin. It's going to be tough to wound me. I should be able to kill those characters before they even get to swing, and I'm liking how this is looking so far. The only thing I fear about Chameleon Skinks are them shooting at my trebuchets, and I think the reason I put my bowman there and then put my trebuchets down later is I wanted to make him think that I was putting the trebuchets in the corner, and then obviously I put my trebuchets down before his Chameleon Skinks went down, but I put him behind my line, so I didn't think his Chameleon Skinks would be able to get up and shoot at them first turn. The way he did it here, I think he was hoping to shoot at one unit of bowmen, cause a panic test. There's no leadership. They'll probably run off the board. And quite frankly, I don't care. I can charge one with bowmen. I can charge the other one with my peg knights, and nice to get them off the board. These guys come around, as you can see it. There's nothing I can do about this. He's going to get the charge, and I'll just have to hope for the best. Against knights, especially knights that he didn't mark, you can see a couple of my units marked with a frog. That means that these guys get super frenzy against him. This unit over here is not marked like that, so I don't fear him too much, except that just he has killing blow. But how many 6s can you roll, right? So the Chameleon Skinks shoot at these guys. For the most part, they're needing 6s to hit, and because there's a fence in front of me, and they only kill 2, which I thought was very, very nice. And we go to Bretonnian turn 1. So I made a mistake with the unit on the far right. I moved my battle standard bearer as far up as possible there in the middle, because I wanted to get my prophetess within 12 inches of my characters who are going to be fighting those Cold One Knights. I moved them before I moved the unit on the right, so when I went to take my march test, I failed it, and my BSB was nowhere around. That's why that unit on the right is hanging back as far as it was. The plan was for them to march up a lot farther to where his Ripperdactyls probably would not be able to even see them. So kind of a fail. I felt that I didn't need my Peg Knights to deal with the Chameleon Skinks, so they came over here to at least kind of threaten the Ripperdactyls, although Ripperdactyls win that battle. And Bowman charged the Chameleon Skinks. The one that was that would have been on the right hand of this picture fled, and I caught them. So that's why it looks like that. And of course, my General's unit charges the Cold One Knights. I take 4 dangerous terrain, and I fail 2 of them. 2 knights gone, but again, the knights are just character delivery. I should be fine in that combat. Now these guys are marked with the Super Frenzy, so if for any reason at all those Cold One Knights stick, I'm actually not in a good place, because Ripperdactyls are going to come in and just do a lot of harm. And over here, the bowmen don't even take a single wound to the Chameleon Skinks. They pursue them off the board. So nice. I like how it's going over there. And yeah, I wasn't able to get the Savage Beast off, but I was able to get +1 strength and toughness, and we just cleaned house. We didn't take any wounds from them. At least one of his characters was dead before he got to swing, the one that mattered. Yeah, he just really didn't have a chance. So then I was just worried about getting out of line of sight of the Ripperdactyls, but even then I wasn't worried too much, because both my Lord characters could make way and could probably kill those guys before they got to swing. So very, very happy with how that went. Yeah, this picture's late, but during the shooting phase, I dropped rocked on these guys and killed a bunch of them. So trebuchets are still on fire from the tournament. So we get Lizardman turn 2. One thing I should say as well, I'm going to go up 2 pictures. So when I broke his Cold One Knights, his Skinks on the left, even with all those characters in the Battle Standard Bearer, they failed their panic test and would have ran off the board. And I was like, just stop. Put them back. Put him back. That's just ridiculously bad luck. So we go to Lizardman turn 2. His Skinks on the left move up. They actually charge my bowman. I fled, and he caught them. Ripperdactyls charge both my knight units. I don't love it, but at the same time, I'm okay. I've got a lot of ranks. I've got a lot of static combat res. So actually, my biggest fear is in the middle. He has 2 Ripperdactyls that can attack my Battle Standard Bearer, who's protected with a 1-up armor save, rerollable, but against Killing Blow it doesn't help. So he's going to get, what is that? He's going to get 6 attacks total. He has to hit, and then if he rolls a 6 to wound, that's going to be really bad for me. But the odds of that don't seem too awful likely. There's that. And again, he can only attack characters. And here are the guys that caught my archers. During the magic phase, it doesn't really matter, but basically he cast one spell. I tried to dispel it. I needed an 11. I was going to use 3 dice. I said, no, I'm going to use 4 dice to make sure I stop it. I roll 4 dice, and I roll like a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 2. And I don't stop it, and my magic phase sucks. So he gets Miasma off my unit. They're -2 to everything, which I wasn't too worried about. And then he got Ice Shard Blizzard off twice. So these guys are base 9 leadership. They're now leadership 7. And with a reroll, I'm not too worried about it. But if he kills my BSB and he wins combat, I'll be steadfast on a 7, and that makes me really nervous. There's a lot of points in here. I've got a level 4 and 3 paladins. And the game might just swing back the Lizardman's way. After combat, yeah, the bad news is that he kills my battle standard bearer. The good news is we pretty much rocked the world. We won by a ton. He needed, I don't know, he needed a 4 or something thereabouts, and he gets it and sticks. And that's not good, because had he not gotten it, I probably would have pursued. I would have reformed and could have just charged his Sans unit, and he would have been in trouble, probably. Over here, yeah, his Ripperdactyls just bounce off. I think he did 1 wound to a paladin, is all he did. I made way with my paladins, and we won combat by a bunch and decided to pursue and just get those points. So we go to Bretonnian turn 2. If you look at the top left, my general's unit just reforms to face his Sans unit. My unit that had killed the Ripperdactyls just swung around with a 16-inch march move, and I feel like I've got him pincered in. And then I set up a double flee. So basically, if he charges, I'm going to get away with both, unless something really unlucky happens, and he's just going to be stuck there. If he doesn't charge, there's nothing he can really do. The most he could probably do is reform to face my Knights Errant and then back up a little bit, so that would be a frontal charge, and then my general's unit would come in and would just clip him, but it would be a flank charge nonetheless. And that's probably the best he can do. And if he does that, I'm going to charge in and clip him, hold him in place, and bring the other unit around later. So he's just really not in a good place. So this is just another angle of the board. We throw a rock on his head, and these trebuchets. I don't think I scored a direct hit. I think he scattered off 2 inches, but still hit the unit pretty square. And just these trebuchets, when they're on, they are on. And this was interesting, and it ended up having a pretty big ramification. So we killed the last of we beat the last Ripperdactyl, and he fled from combat. He's in the very top left of this picture. I didn't want to pursue him. I didn't see the point of doing it. And what I was going to do was reform these guys to face the woods, because he's got his unit there with all those characters sitting in the woods. They can't be steadfast. And then just the thought occurred to me, those are auxiliary. The game is won or lost based on getting a Slans unit. And so I faced my guys the way you see them. I thought I was being so prudent, but in hindsight, I wish I would have done what my original inclination said to do. So we go to Lizardman turn 3. His Slans unit charges my Fast Cav. I flee. He charges my Peg Knights. I flee. They both get away, and he is set up for the most beautiful of counter charges. I want you to look at this picture, because there was a player watching the game with us, and he just kind of walked away like, game's over. And let me just say now, the game's not over. Wow. Yeah, so there's the double flee. As Ripperdactyl doesn't rally, he continues to run. We go to the magic phase, and he casts the movement miasma on my Knights Errant, who are to the right. And I'm like, you know what? They still only need a 4 to get into combat. I'm like, yeah, whatever, let it go. And I forgot about the lore attribute, and he pulls his Slan out of this unit, puts him with the skinks, and puts a skink chief in here. And I thought it was brilliant. I just loved it. It made me so happy. Like, I think in a tournament I'd be mad at myself for not thinking ahead just that much. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. And now, if my other unit was facing his unit in the woods, that's a totally different story. There's nowhere to escape, because he can't be steadfast in those woods, and my knights are going to come in there and wreck face. So there's a Slan just laughing at me. Laughing at me. And so then he casts the Lore of Metal spell and kills a few knights, of course. We go to Bretonnian turn 3. Look at the top right. I only needed a 4 to get it. and my Knights Errant failed the charge. I didn't even bother charging my General's unit because it was overkill. I've got these Knights Errant with 2 characters in the flank. They're going to destroy that unit. So I reform my General's unit. I reform the other unit. Yeah. Well, I knew the charge had failed before I reformed them, but I hadn't declared the charge. I wasn't going to sit there. So yeah, so I rally the fast cav and put him up in front of his General's unit. And now I'm not going to flee with them. If you charge them, they're just going to take it. And then I'll get a charge with my Knights Errant next time, and probably a charge with my Peg Knights too, depending on how that works out. I couldn't believe they failed it. Are you kidding me? But this one, I don't see how he's going to get out of this. Failed charge. So these peasants who had come back on the board, they shoot at the Ripperdactyl. Ripperdactyl may or may not rally, but they shot at him anyway and killed him. So I thought that was very nice. And we go to Lizardman turn 4. In the middle, the Saurus warriors decide not to charge. They just reform and face the Knights Errant. If you notice, my fast cav in the middle of the picture are losing one. I threw a rock on him, and it scattered my way and killed one of my own guys. He pulled his Skink Chief out of that unit, and he's just going to shoot at my fast cav. If he does 1 wound, it forces a panic, and not a bad plan. And then over here, there's a close-up of that. And over in the left, he pulls a Son out of my line of sight. Now, what almost happened here is my unit on the lower right can almost make that charge through that gap, but it was really, really close, and now when I look at this angle, I'm thinking it probably wasn't possible. That's what I was thinking. He pulls his another Skink Chief out and just sits in front of my my General's unit, so I can't double charge the unit of the woods. I don't need to double charge the unit of the woods. I've got a whole unit of Knights coming in there with 2 Paladins. He's got a bunch of characters, but his characters are nothing great. I'm going to win combat. He won't be steadfast. I think I'll be just fine. The lore in his Lore of Metal spell is just killing me. So this unit, I had to distribute wounds because I had less than 5 rank and file models, and he kills just a bunch. So I have 2 lords and a paladin. All 3 of them have 1 wound on them. There's actually another knight in the unit. We were unsure about a rule earlier in the game where it killed 2 knights and it should have only killed 1. I put him back in there later when we just agreed that we would ask somebody what the rule was and put him back if we had played it wrong. So Bretonnian turn 4. So now we finally get to mop up. So I get the charge of the Knights in the woods. I get the charge of the Knights Errant and the Peg Knights against his character bunker. My General's unit, what's left of it, charges that Skink Chief. And this, by the way, is where I found out that he has a Lord level Old Blood. Is that what it is? Old Blood? Not a Scarvep, the Lord level one. In with these guys. He's in the very top right of this picture, and I didn't know it. He didn't give me a list. His list was written down, and I'm always pretty flippant about that. I'm just, just tell me what you got. And I'm sure he told me, but I just forgot about it. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I still think I have this, but that's kind of a big deal. Oops. Not worried about this in the slightest, except that I lost. Here I had to take 7 dangerous terrain, and I failed 4 of the 7. So both of my paladins now have a wound on them. My prophetess has a wound, and I lost a knight. And it could be maybe 1 paladin and the prophetess and 2 knights. But I failed 4 out of 7 dangerous terrain, which I was unhappy about. And what happened? I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this. So I will go in there. His Skink Chiefs are a better initiative than my paladins. Both of my paladins were on 1 wound, either from dangerous terrain or from something previous in the game. But whatever it was, they were both on 1 wound. And he kills both of them before I even strike. Then I rubber lance. I only kill a few of his guys. He kills even more of my guys with his lowly little skinks. And by the way, I had a +1 strength and toughness buff up. And even with that, his skinks beat my guys in combat. That's okay, because I have leadership 9. Nope, doesn't matter. Actually, these guys have the standard discipline. They're still leadership 9. Yeah, leadership 9 doesn't matter. They broke. And then I'm going to challenge with my Virtue of Audacity Sword of Anti-Heroes guy with his little Skink Chief and I can't kill him. And then, not only can I not kill him, I couldn't break him in combat, because if I could have broken him in combat, they could have overran and hit the side of that skink unit to keep them from charging my knight unit and getting my level 4 prophetess on his next turn, and I couldn't even break the guy in combat. What an epic, epic, epic fail. Lizardman turn 5, his skinks charge what used to be my BSB's unit. I flee, he catches me. What? Yeah. At the top middle is pretty cool. He takes that skink chief that was sitting out there in the middle of nowhere and charges my peg knights. I thought that was a mistake. I didn't take a picture of it. Obviously, yeah, my knights errant totally went to town on his Saurus warriors. His old blood could only fight my peg knight champion, and so he killed my champion, and that was fine. I got plenty of combat res and ran him down. So yeah, there's that. And then during the magic phase, again, he cast miasma on somebody. I let it go, and he jumps his Slann into this unit instead of being up hidden where he was. That decision I don't know if I agree with, because the only thing I could do this Slann up by the house is charge him with my peg knights if I win that combat. And at this rate, that's a big if. Down here, it might be easier to charge him, but it's probably always safer to put him in a unit. He casts the Lore of Death signature spell and kills a trebuchet. And yeah, his skink chief actually kills a peg knight. Like, these skink chiefs are tearing me up. But I won it because we just killed him. And then my 2 lord characters with my paladin with knights finally killed the lowly little skink chief and just reformed. I reformed such that I could charge either skink chief or his general's unit. And I charged a general's unit. I didn't want to charge a skink chief and have him flee through the house. This makes me nervous because all of my characters have taken a wound, and let me take that back. My general has taken 1 wound. The Virtue of Audacity guy has taken 2 wounds, one from a dangerous terrain test, and one, I believe, and one from that stupid challenge I was in with the skink chief when I couldn't kill him. So he's sitting on 1 wound. So it makes me nervous that, I've got a 1-up armor save, but things can happen. And he's going to be steadfast. So I'm not going to break him anytime. So my thinking is the general charges in. I bring the other knight coming down from the top of the table. My knight's errant, and I just need to hold him up and then charge him on my next turn. And after combat, yeah, I do a bunch of wounds to him, but he's steadfast, he sticks, and it looks like that. Or like that, who knows? One or the other. Yeah, the peg knight kills that skink chief, which was nice. And we go to Lizardman turn 6. After combat, he was steadfast, and then he reformed, and by reforming, he put his Slann on this other side so that my knights errant charge in, they couldn't hit the Slann. And so on my turn, you notice, by the way, that my characters are still alive. He hasn't been able to do a wound to me, but I've been pretty consistent at getting the +1 strength and toughness buff up. So he's rolling, it's like 6s to wound me, and then I've got either a 1-up or a 2-up armor save. So I haven't taken any wounds in the back. These guys come in now. I think I've got this because, he's not going to be steadfast. I should just do a ton of wounds. And yeah, but one of his guys, he's strength 3. He needs a 6 to wound my Virtue of Audacity Lord, and he rolls a 6 and wounds him. That's okay. I've got a 1-up armor save. I roll a 1, and he dies. But whatever. They broke the unit, so the Lizardmen have nothing left on the table, and I have most everything still left. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all, because I lost a Knights of the Realm, my Prophetess, my BSB, and 2 characters because they suck. But this was just a really fun game. When I broke his Cold One Knights, it almost felt like it wasn't going to be that much fun because it's just going to be a rollover game. And then to have things switch around, his Slann jumping around and causing problems, this was a really, really, really fun game. So anyway, that's this list so far. I'm liking it. Like I said, the first change I think I want to make is I want to try out Lore of Heavens. I know that Savage Beast can be a game winner with this many characters, but I just don't feel good about it. I really like all the low casting values and the versatility of Heavens. So we'll see. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has several functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like the video, you can leave a comment, you can favorite the video. I want you to know that I appreciate it when you do things like that. It feels much more interactive than simply me talking to a screen. So if you're willing to do so, please like, comment, and favorite the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and you certainly are welcome to share this video on your blog or other websites if you are so inclined. Again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.